A big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
Hey, I'm Pitmaster X and I'm here to warn you about the future. Because very, very soon you won't be able to afford this cut of beef. But before we talk about this cut of beef, I want to talk to you about our website. It is insane. We got so many recipes on it. Everything you need to know about barbecues on there, and it's totally free. You can go there, you can print out the recipes. Well, you're gonna be lost there. It's gonna be so good. Just go there one time and I promise you, you probably never leave. Now, I know this might come off as an anonymous video where I predict the doomed future, but it's kind of true. I talked to a lot of butchers and to the suppliers of the butchers and the suppliers of the suppliers of the butchers and to the farmers and to, well, everybody in the supply chain. And there's one story that they're telling me which isn't an issue yet, but it's going to be. And that's the price of this piece of meat. That's going to be a problem in 3 months' time. At this current moment, everybody's still fine, nobody's still panicking, but the prediction is we're going to run out of this piece of meat. And then the only ones who are going to be able to afford it are the super wealthy. I'm talking about the tenderloin, a beautiful cut of beef that sits on the opposite side of the ribeye roast. You might wonder, why is this so special? It's because in the restaurants it's sold as a tourne-dos and it's extremely popular in Europe. And with the high demand comes a high price. But the real problem started 2 years ago when the big virus started. At that time, manufacturers started to freak out and stopped all production, started selling off stock, and ended up with empty warehouses. Of course, all this time they worked really hard to get back to normal stocks. The problem is that you can't breed cows faster than they actually breed. So now that the demand is rising, people can go back into the restaurants buying their favorite cut of beef. There's actually not going to be enough of it for everyone. And with prices at all-time high, breaking every record there ever was, we now might see that the prices will rise even further. Because when Christmas comes, everyone wants a piece of this steak on their plate. So this is our problem. It looks good, it tastes good, but by the time it's Christmas, you won't be able to afford it. Now I think I have a solution to that problem. And that's this. This might be the end of all problems.
All problems?
All problems.
Everything?
I swear it, world peace included. And for a very small price. Now, of course, prices vary depending on where you live. We had this discussion many times. Think about ribeyes versus flank steaks. So, where I live, this is one of the cheapest cuts you will ever see. And the beauty of it is, if I take this, cut off this part, it almost looks like a tenderloin already. Then I'm going to make a cut. Now it looks like a medallion. A medallion, otherwise known as tourne-dos. Look at it. Of course, there's a little fat cap on top here. Let me take that off. And now they're almost brother and sister. Look at that. That's insane. Like, who can tell the difference? It's like almost the same. Well, the color is a little different. You got a little more marbling, so that's a good thing. Now, if we cook these two up and compare them, then is it worth it sticking to this and maybe like pay 80 euros in a restaurant just to get it like a piece of tourne-dos? Or should we want this? The alternative. And I'm not saying that this is the alternative. This is me looking for ways to figure out how we're gonna fix our problem during Christmas. How you can serve something amazing of which most people associate with Christmas and good quality food, even in restaurants. And at the same time, we get it cheap. I know you wanna know right now what cut this is. So here we go. It's the tritip. And basically, if you're a cow and you stand like this, that's this piece. Doing this, that's the muscle. The tritip. Remember that piece. In Dutch it's called ezeltje. And well, Here it's very cheap. I hope it's cheap where you live as well. It's a good alternative. If this is not your alternative and you have a better suggestion, put it down below in the comments. I would love to know. People, we need to know. We need to make like a list of alternatives that we can use. In the meantime, me and Morrison are just gonna figure this out and test this. Is it gonna work? So let's fire up our Napoleon grill and find out. I got my Napoleon Charcoal Pro Grill fired up. And basically, this is direct heat and this is indirect heat. And the cool thing about this grill is, when I need more heat, I just use this lever, raise up the bed of charcoal, and then it comes up. So I have more instant heat. That's great for searing off. But I'm gonna be cooking these steaks over indirect heat first, which is called the reverse sear. So I'm taking the best part and I'm putting them over indirect heat first, best pieces, so we can compare, close the lid, and let them cook. So both steaks were cooked equally to the same temperature, and now we're going to do the taste test and figure out if we have a good substitute or if there's just too much difference and there's no substitute for tenderloin. So let's start with the tenderloin and give it a try. Of course, tenderloin is tender, but this one, it was a really good and special tenderloin. It had a good amount of intermuscular fat, which for tenderloin is pretty rare, and that's kind of cool.
So soft. And I think that the inventor of the tenderloin must have thought the same thing, and that's why he called it the tenderloin.
Now I'm gonna try the tri-tip. But as you already saw, the color of the tri-tip was less red. And that means that the meat had less time to develop flavor. Hemoglobins have to go into the meat, develop flavor. But hopefully that intramuscular fat, which was way more than the tenderloin, makes up for that. So let's give it a try.
Not as tender, a little bit more bite, but that same beefy flavor. That beefy flavor where most people dream of.
The flavor is fantastic. And then you get juiciness. It's still tender. If you cut the steak like I did in the right direction, across the grain, against the grain, and then it's amazing. It tastes good, it's good. And you pay a lot less, and it's available. Yeah, nothing beats the tenderloin tenderness-wise, but flavor-wise, come on. There is a substitute.
Or the tri-tip, man. It's an amazing steak. It's still more tender than most steaks, so who cares that it's not the number one?
Ta-da-da-da! So I made ratatouille, and basically it's not the official version of ratatouille, it's my version. I put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Should I tell them, or should they just watch like an epic clip?
I think they're watching an epic clip right now.
Awesome.
Look at it. Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's so awesome.
Whoa. Look at that.
I'm getting hungry.
Look at those bubbles. Oh. Amazing. All right.
All right. That looked good, right?
All right. I switched the plate, so I get the tenderloin.
Dude.
Because it's probably the last tenderloin you'll ever see on this channel, right? Never a tenderloin again.
Dude,
this is the last one.
I get them for free. But seriously, the problem is not if I buy it for myself at home, but if you go to a restaurant, then that's where the problem starts.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna solve this? I'm just looking ahead. I'm looking for options.
So the restaurants, they should buy
that
tri-tip. So guys, buy tri-tip. If you have a restaurant in Europe, buy tri-tip.
Or something else.
But don't tell us that it's tenderloin. That's
no.
Tri-tip.
This is like the tri-tip medallion, and you get it sliced with ratatouille. So
I love tri-tip. I've never seen tri-tip on the menu. If I've ever seen it on a menu, I would probably order it. Because it's one of my favorites.
And just make it your special. Get it introduced to people.
So I can slice into the tenderloin.
Yeah, go ahead. This
Let's
is all
get
about
some
the ratatouille.
Yeah,
Look at that.
That's beautiful.
Look at that. That's gorgeous. But now you're eating all the tenderloin. That's not okay.
No. Grab the piece, grab it.
And we're eating veggies. Mama, if you're watching, Morrison's mama, if you're watching,
I'm eating my veggies, I'm doing okay.
Let me know what you're coming up with. What is your solution to our big New Year's problem, like our Christmas, New Year's problem? I want to hear your story. I want to hear what you're going to do to solve it. And if you know, let us know down below in the comments.
Let us know.
Let us know. Big thank you to our patrons and our YouTube members. Hope to see you guys next time. Until then,
eet smakelijk.
And keep on grilling.